Country, we talk country. This Saturday, January 17th. Come have an unforgettable experience upstairs the Castries Market. It's a night of country classics. Party up inside to the best country and western hits from yesteryear. And now, ladies, you free all night. Yes, ladies, you free all night. Men, you pay $10. Doors open from 8 p.m. Featuring the entertainer DJ Leroy and the professor DJ Shelton. All powered by Entertainer Sounds. So link your crew, cause this Saturday night is X amount of country music as we party up inside the Castries Market. See you there.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Ordinarily, I would say another wonderful Friday afternoon to you, but for 2026, it's a wonderful first Friday afternoon to you, everyone. Thanks for staying with the real issues. As we have rounded out, or almost rounded out, our first week of this program for the new year, the real issues airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on this radio station, Real FM, that serves you on the dual frequencies of 91.3 for the north, 91.5 for the south. We simulcast on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are also on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live streaming. Hope you're having a good day so far. I'm again alone today. Terry Fenelon won't be in. I think we all know, and it's been said quite exhaustively, that he is planning and preparing for a funeral of his dear mother who passed away a few days ago. And so we know how it can be when you're engaged in this sort of thing, bearing the weight of grief and sadness and mourning, while at the same time having to run here, run there, to get things together, to get everything in place. And that's what he's doing, I suppose, getting help from other family members for sure, but perhaps his background as an administrator, as an organizer, being drawn to the full extent, and we wish him well. Okay? Folks, there's a lot of debate going on all over social media about the visa situation. It seems to be causing a lot of disquiet, unrest, even panic among many of our people, and one can understand there are others who are essentially dismissing them. People, we really don't know how a person feels unless we are in their shoes. And what a visa means to some people, those who have it, that is an entirely different thing, and what it means for those who don't have it, who've never had it, who don't want it, etc. For many people earning their living overseas in what we consider to be advanced, developed, successful countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States of America, it means everything to them. And being in St. Lucia, coming back to St. Lucia, may have a lot of them just the thought of it to be very crestfallen. They don't see the extent of opportunities, the vistas of endeavor that they can go into in order to get what we call a successful life, which for many of us means getting a decent house, a piece of land, saving enough for our retirement, funding our children's education, being able to finance our health care, those sorts of things. It means a lot. So spare a thought, have a heart for people who are absolutely broken-hearted over what's happening with visas and all those sorts of things as it pertains to the United States. But I'll repeat what I think I may have told you, albeit with possibly different words. Don't lose all hope. Don't despair. Things can change in a moment, in a flash. That which appears irrepressible, invincible, untouchable today may be gone tomorrow. And I'm not making any prophecies. Sometimes we can see someone or some people or some nations or some systems are so powerful that we despair. It doesn't seem like, oh my goodness, we will ever be able to get out from under them, from that situation. And very often those who find themselves in that position of power, they preen themselves, they flatter themselves, they talk themselves into believing that things will always be that way, that nobody can touch them, nobody can test them, nobody can challenge them, nobody can defeat them. Oh my goodness, they are going to be there for 1,000 years. And I mention 1,000 years because there was a regime in Germany which sprung up in the 1930s, whose leader was bragging about a 1,000-year empire, and his speeches were always filled with, we shall never be defeated, we shall never be, this sort of thing. Well, guess what? His 1,000-year-old Reich, as empire means in the German language, his empire-old Reich, 1,000-year-old, was over inside another T, and that T was anything but 1,000. It was not even 20. Inside 12 years, his Reich was defeated, and his country lay in ruins, millions of people dead. It took a long time for them to recover. And I'm not saying there's anything with coming from a certain nationality, but the current leader of the United States of America is actually a third generation descendant of a German migrant who came to the United States. It's his grandfather who left Germany and came to seek a better life in the United States. And their name was not even Trump then. It was something like Drumpf or Drumpf or something like that. It later eluded and evolved and changed into Trump. So his grandfather was a German. His grandfather came there before Nazi Germany evolved. And so he isn't an American from the days of the American Revolution and the American Civil War. Much later than that did his grandfather come and fathered a man called Fred Trump, who I think was an engineer, builder, contractor, made a lot of money, so that the current president, born with a golden spoon in his mouth, inherited $200 million. And I'm telling you, if he was born in 1946, and he inherited $200 million US, you can imagine if you had to convert that into the value of today's money, what that would mean. So he's never a man who has had to struggle for his money. But every man, like the Apostle Paul said, is what he is by the grace of God, who causes governments and kingdoms and kings to rise and fall according to the unfolding of his purpose. The unfolding of God's own flag. It doesn't always work according to human understanding, but always believe that the Most High does not make mistakes, does not commit any blunders, does not need any second takes or anything of that kind. Donald Trump is a descendant of no more than 2 or 3 generations of a German migrant to the United States. And if we see things are moving in a direction in terms of the bigotry, in terms of the demagoguery, what it is happening there, it begs the question, did that kind of system in 1930s Germany really spring from Adolf Hitler and the Nazis? And by the way, for those who are so anti-socialist than this, Nazi is really a German acronym that is evolved from the National Socialist German Workers' Party. So the Nazis at the time considered themselves to be socialists. Okay, their party doctrine was a national socialism. To those who were against healthcare, to those who were against helping people and giving some kind of support to them and so on, one famous movement called itself National Socialism. So we just have to bide our time. Sometimes you just have to keep your head down. Sometimes you just have to suffer what is going on in the time. Don't shake your fist, don't snarl and snap and so on. What's to prevent them from coming for me that there's an ally or for them to open up on the government of St. Lucia because there's an ally of Prime Minister Pierre and the ruling party who's always on the radio criticizing them? What's to prevent them from doing that? You think I have any defense, any help, anywhere I could run? Sometimes, and all the time for that matter, you just have to commit yourself, your way, into the hands of the Almighty and let Him deliver you, let Him rescue you, let Him save you as He sees fit. What's happening in the world, people can go and seize any nation's oil tanker because they say no oil must come out of there without their approval. Without another country, you're gone. Another country, you're gone, and you just take over the country, you abduct its leader, you just basically say we will run it. I thought the days of this law of the jungle was over. I thought that was what the Second World War and maybe other wars were about. Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1990 or whatever time it was and so on, that look, the acquisition of territory by force, the seizing of another country, the taking over of its resources, that this is wrong, this is evil, this is bad, we will stand against it, we will fight wars against it. And to see it happening right here in our hemisphere, someone just going over and the story changed overnight, that on one time it is because there is officially sanctioned and participating, narco trafficking, and then afterward the conversation simply becomes about oil. Out of the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak. You might come under the pretext of something else, but very soon it's going to flow out of you. You will vomit what your really intentions are. And speaking about oil and other resources, very often it's not about wanting to take over the oil so that you can directly profit from it, Sometimes big companies, wealthy companies, they buy out smaller ones so that they can shut them down. So that the nuisance presence in the market, which they believe is impeding their own commerce and their own transaction. I think we've had a couple of that. Microsoft purchased, Skype, and they've shut down Skype after a few years. I think they purchased Nokia. Is Nokia the big deal that it was when it's finished or whatever owners had it before? Basically they have their own plans, they have their own strategy, and sometimes some smaller fry competitor is there. So you never know whether the taking of taking over of Venezuela and its oil isn't a way not just to control the world supply of oil, but to control the exploitation of it. If we can shut down Venezuela or greatly reduce it or prevent it from springing up again, our own oil will sell more. If we can shut down Iran and so on, our ally Saudi Arabia will do better. If we can shut down Nigeria and so on, then we make Africa a lot more dependent on us, to supply them oil. So the wealth of Africa, the rare earth minerals and the uranium and all the things that are in the Congo, will be able to twist their arms to get what we want. There's a whole lot of play and gaming that is going around with those things. And we as small fries, there's very little that we can do to influence or alter the outcome. We just have to, as I said, keep our heads down. Be as quiet sometimes. Don't try to go and take on anybody and snarl and snap at them. It's not going to make much difference. I think I drew to you the reference because we have a lot of people here who believe in the Bible. that when Israel had sinned with all the idolatry and all their turning away from God and breaking the covenant that they had solemnly sworn, you be our God and we will be your people, that God decided to send them into captivity. Before the captivity came, a young man, priest and prophet called Jeremiah told them, trying to resist the Babylonians is futile. Surrender to them, throw yourselves on their mercy, and you will receive good terms of surrender, lenient treatment. If you resist, they will overpower, they will overwhelm you, they'll break down your walls, they'll pillage and plunder your country, they'll destroy your temple. They just felt that the proud heritage that they had, even though they hadn't played their part in keeping that covenant and so on, that we are Israelites, who can come and take us here and so on. Exactly as Jeremiah prophesied to them and Isaiah before him was exactly what happened to them, And so let us not be the ones that we have unnecessarily American warships and whatever circling our waters and planes flying over that just the sound of them will frighten us and so on. Let us handle things with the calmness that has been amply demonstrated to us by Philip Joseph Pierre. Too many of us say we are supporters of his. Too many of us call him our 5-star general. Too many of us swear by his leadership, its effectiveness, the manner, his temperament, his very countenance, how well he's doing. But then we turn around and we do the exact opposite ourselves. I think we have a very good role model prime minister in St. Lucia that we should follow the leader. We should look at him, see how he handles things and say, okay, if that's, and that includes wanting to raise fights with irrelevant people of the United Workers' Party, which has been decimated for a reason and so on, that everything they say, I'm reading something on Facebook, a man who I consider to be one of our best brains taking on, some people who have no credibility, whose credentials are suspect, who want to make themselves out to be analysts and wasting good brain power, trying to refute and argue with those people. These people have been argued out of existence. They have been discredited. They have been refuted comprehensively and totally. Stop wasting time taking them on. Let us look at other things that we can turn our brain power to, how we can make it work. And it isn't only one shot that I want to say. You've heard me say it before. Our food security, our internal food security is one of the things we need to look at. Too often we have followed a certain model of production and business and whatever, that it has to be some private entrepreneur who has a piece of land, who puts plowing machines into it, who plants, who fences and so on, and then they will go and they'll sell to supermarkets. I have been arguing for a long time that we need what I call freehold, free range food in our country, so that people, for example, might be encouraged to exercise, to go and do walks to the Louvet area or whatever areas that are less roads, less traveled in St. Lucia, to go out in groups, don't go out alone, and leave behind the plastics and the containers and all this thing. Go, because that there have been fruit trees and food trees planted in abundance around those areas, that they are public, freehold and so on, lands that are owned by government, that are not yet marked for housing estates, that people can go and eat some sapodilla and eat some whatever kind of apples, wax apples and so on, without fear of anybody arresting them, that there is such great quantity that, in fact, you don't really see a lot of those things in the supermarkets anyway, that the things that you don't see in the supermarket that are seasonal and so on, that you can go there. Do you know that there, and I think we have it in St. Lucia, sometimes when you want water, there are certain trees which I think are like big vines, and you cut a piece of the vine or the stem, and there is water, just like coconut, that you can just tilt it into your mouth, and you get a good serving of quality water, which is the tree sap, or the tree absorbs water. I think there's certain cacti, cactus plants and so on, that are like that, to give people a local adventure in their country. Now, with regard to how we're going to get those fruit trees, I think we need to look at a national volunteer, to get that kind of volunteer spirit, especially among our young people, under the guidance of expert agriculturists and environmentalists and so on, will say, okay, it makes no sense trying to plant this thing in the northeast of the island. It's too arid, so we'll leave that one for that place, the Viewfort areas and so on, that people can go and so on, that maybe we can do through some kind of of propagation, a bigger fat poke, that when people eat one, it's not that they have to eat 20 and so on, it's fleshier and so on, that there are water sources that people can use. You know, one of the things I've looked at over the years, and maybe I'm naive, a lot of our people who went to study in Cuba, who didn't have, as far as I know, to pay a dime for their university tuition fees, their travel accommodation, all of that was handled for them by the Cuban government, whether in collaboration with St. Lucia government having to put in something. I thought when they came back, given the conversations I've had with several of them, the admiration that they expressed for Cuba, the volunteer brigades of medical people who had received medical qualifications going into the countryside, to hold clinic on the spot, if it is on the roadside, on a bench, to look at in their throat to see if they were okay, to prescribe things for them or treatment that they would get them into. Teachers who went out in a lot of those areas to directly confront illiteracy and so on, and to hold classes, whether night classes or national enrichment and learning a unit of production, to hold those kinds of things so that the benefit of what they had received in terms of education and training, that they would deliberately impart it as part of a program organized, brigades and so on, to help people out of illiteracy, out of poverty, to help them, better health and so on, all these sorts of things. I thought that this was the kind of the spirit and the fervor, the ideologically driven passion that a lot of those Cuban graduates would have had. To my great surprise now, I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying a lot of them that I thought, when they spoke to me with pride about the miracle that Cuba had done and so on. And more recently, Grenada tried it, and it seemed like it was working. I mean, Maurice Bishop and those people, they really pushed out to reach out to the people with healthcare, with education, with so many different things. Development, to teach people self-help and a coming together, and things that we could do, on the strength of the collective, and not always waiting for the bulldozer and whatever to come. But even when they came, that they're little, adjunct things that you could do as a people. I really thought a lot of our St. Lucians would have had that kind of fervor in them. And I think many of them, probably that was their intention. But many of those Cuban graduates, when they came, they seemed to become more capitalist, than the capitalists themselves. It seemed like their rage, their greed, their fire, their passion was to get that big SUV, the 4-door with the huge tires and so on. This was the kind of life you saw them wanting to live. Some of them, their fees, they were the first ones to push their fees up. I remember at the time when I was seeing, and I seem to be lucky to always find myself in the care of Cuban trained physicians. I went to Antigua, and I decided I need to see a doctor to check me out, and I stumbled upon a very nice gentleman called Dr. Delrose Christian. And when I mentioned to him, that Dr. Siles Wilson, he said, "That's my very good friend Siles. I knew him, whatever. Either we studied in Cuba together and so on." And Dr. Delrose Christian remains a very close person in terms of someone I can call and talk to, as was Siles Wilson and so on. So I'm not saying anything to this Cuban people. Dr. Janice Stanley, wonderful cardiologist and so on. And again, what I like about this, I don't know if other doctors, I don't think Dr. Martin Didier wasn't Cuban trained, but he would sit down and sketch and explain things to me. So a lot of the things I have is from those interactions. Dr. Janice Stanley would explain to me about, enlargement of the heart is not necessarily the heart itself getting bigger. There is the heart wall, the muscle can become thickened, and the thickening of the muscle can cause it to lose its elasticity. This kind of things and so on. I always appreciate them. But let me just tell you this, at a time when doctors generally were charging you, and that's many, many years ago, $60 for a visit, consultation as we call it. The first person who charged me $100 was a Cuban trained doctor. And then afterwards, when other doctors were charging $100, that person was at $150. And then when other doctors, that was the first person to charge me $200. I don't remember any increase after that. I'm just saying that I found so many of the graduates of Cuba who came here, that it was the very same capitalist, materialistic rat race, that they were determined to run and to win. The ideological fervor of trying to uplift their people, using their education, which they got at virtually no cost. I'm not saying they don't need to live. I'm not saying they don't need to charge, because almost all doctors that I know of, they don't have their own building. They're renting from somebody in town. and I happen to know some of the inside on that. Some of those property owners and realtors, the kind of money that they're charging for a small space, and it's like, it's like not just price gouging, it's eye gouging. You can lâcher zier moun pour calte l'argent, you can demander, and the condition of the buildings, its need of renovations and upgrades and so on. Not just doctors. I knew a lady who had a little clothing store in town, and oh my goodness me, when she told me the kind of money she had to be paying to a landlord, and the landlord was there, every month end, he ain't letting a day pass, he there, to collect. A few times I went there deliberately, and she used to look at him. He come there pretending like it's just a chat he come to have with me. No chat, his money he come for. So I know, that doctors have their rent to pay. They have their utilities to pay. They have their staff to pay. They have so many other expenses that they have to make, just like anybody else. Not just because you're Cuban trained that you don't have the expenses. You don't have to subscribe to medical journals, provide reading material for people who come to your office and are sitting there. I understand that. I'm just saying that I really thought that not having to face student loan and those sorts of things, that they would have come aback with some ideological fervor to organize those kinds of brigades, that would help the national development at the grassroots level, as they themselves love to tell me they witnessed in Cuba. So when I talk about, populating, is that rewilding or whatever it is? No, I don't think rewilding is something else. So that we have a lot of this public freehold places where we can combat hunger, it's not going to supply the protein of cows. I'm not saying to drop cows wild over the place. But so many of the fruits that we knew, the native fruits, we may call them exotics or whatever, and our own agricultural authorities get into some kind of collaboration with known places where a lot of our fruits came to the Caribbean, India, and so on. So that some fruits you can do the studies to find out whether they will work here well, whether they will become invasive and choke out, our local trees and plants, and they're undesirable and so on, so that we can have a greater quantity and diversity, of freely available foods and fruits and so on, tropical fruits, etc., that people can feed on for recreational purposes, for nutritive purposes, for medicinal purposes, so that we don't always have to be going to buy a bottle of acai berry or whatever because of the so-called antioxidant it has in it. That we have more than enough things with antioxidant in them, but we can also research. Suppose we get acai berry, will it grow here? Will it grow well? Will it become a problem? Will it go out of control? Will it become... So that, we have a country that is overflowing, that in abundance has the things that we know it does well. Things that we know our country has done well with is those kinds of fruits and wild berries and cherries and so on. We have the examples right here. Another thing is the bird life of these small islands. They don't have big animals like leopards and this and that. A couple of them have deer and so on. St. Kitts, Antigua, you'll find wild deer, not in great quantity like before. So big game, there isn't too much of it. But when it comes to the bird life, we have been teeming with bird life, which is good for photography, which is good for sightseeing, which is good for tourists. All birds are protected, so protected wildlife, so don't go killing them and so on. But to have a country where there is that abundance of freely available food and fruits and so on outside of the supermarket life, so that we are not held captive by the whole supermarket thing and so on. That a lot of the things that we grew up knowing and enjoying, the boitin or whatever it is, that we have a sufficiency of them, an overflow of them, an abundance of them in our country. That even if somebody who feels that they're fainting can just hold on to one of them and just suck it for a moment, so that, they don't faint out of hunger or whatever. That they can go walking and they have a little source of antioxidants and calories and so on. We need to think outside the box. We say it all the time, but when it comes to doing it, and if it is so, let the agricultural cadets, let the agricultural extension officers divide themselves into zones and so on. Get young people, the volunteer brigades, they themselves can become volunteer cadets and so on, to go out and to reclaim our country, to rescue our country, to imbue and endow our country with a lot of things. It is possible and it can be done. What do you say? Bow to say. Not this he about to say, he died some time ago, but there's a friend of mine who's an agriculturist. That's my nickname for him. What do you think of that, my friend about to say? Shoot me a message. Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters. When we come back, the lines will be open for your calls, as it is the final day of our first week of 2026.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Country, we talk country. This Saturday, January 17th. Come have an unforgettable experience upstairs the Castries Market. It's a night of country classics. Party up inside to the best country and western hits from yesteryear. And now, ladies, you free all night. Yes, ladies, you free all night. Men, you pay $10. Doors open from 8 p.m. Featuring the entertainer DJ Leroy and the professor DJ Elton. All powered by Entertainer Sounds. So link your crew, cause this Saturday night is X amount of country music as we party up inside the Castries Market. See you there.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758 453 7458.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with the Real Issues powered by Blue Waters on this Friday. It is the 16th of... Am I correct in that one? I think I'm beginning to lose it again, you know. It is the 16th day of January 2026, and our telephone lines are open now for your calls. The numbers to dial, if you're WhatsApp calling us, you can do so on 758 487 9849. That's 487 9849. You can WhatsApp call us there, and you can also call us on our landline number, which is 4533911. All right. So while we're waiting for the calls to come in, I think I'll also go to the Facebook Live. I did a good job yesterday acknowledging the people there. You know, I watched yesterday. I didn't watch the whole thing, so maybe they said it and I didn't see it. I haven't heard it referenced. I think the police did a good job with that briefing. The senior officers, the commissioner, Mr. Gad, Mr. De Freitas, Mr. Ronald Phillip, and others, and so on. I mean, it's nice to bring out, you know, your top cavalry and so on to face the media and to answer questions. I thought they were doing so very candidly, and this is very good. But I think the police must proactively brief the public on how things are going. I have mentioned two cases, and they're only because they are examples that I think are good of women who, I don't want to use the word innocent, it's irrelevant whether they're innocent of anything or not, but of relatively helpless women. And let's face it, we don't need to go and do any complex statistical research that we can, I think, safely conclude that the majority of the people who have firearms, legal and illegal, are men. Women tend to be relatively helpless. They tend to be more unarmed than men would ever be. The woman is less likely for you to find her with an offensive or even defensive weapon, a knife or whatever in a bag or in a waistband. There are those who have it, but women tend to be relatively unarmed and helpless. And we have seen many cases where women have been set upon by assailants, and it is probably because they know that these women are relatively defenseless. They don't have any weapon. They're not the type who can handle a cutlass as a man normally can, to come upon them, to chop them, to stab them, whether for robbery, whether because they want to rape them, whether because it's some jealous boyfriend who believes she having some other man or whatever it is like that. Sometimes for witness elimination, that she has a complaint, something pending in court, and somebody wants to wipe her out. And I've been talking about this for a while because of what it represents. People, back, it's 5 years, I think, in 2021, a woman who is a bus station dispatcher of the minibuses on the busiest bus stand in the north and in the whole of St. Lucia, the Grosley bus stand, called Hermia Lord, otherwise referred to as Hermia Morrill. I think Morrill was a married name. She was divorced or whatever, but Hermia Lord was about her business early in the morning between 7 and 7:30. Someone walks up to her, a gunman, who from what I'm told may not have even been masked or anything, someone who was so sure of himself, and shot her multiple times right there in full view of everybody. She collapsed and she died. The gunman made off. The police did a wonderful job, I felt. It wasn't too long after, in very short order, they had, as they love to say, apprehended a suspect. A man called Michael Pauloin, and I'm mentioning his name because the guy has been formally charged. It isn't to say that he's a suspect or anything. He's an accused person. They arrested Michael Pauloin, who, just listen to his nickname, Mad Crime. Michael Pauloin, a.k.a. Mad Crime of Vanna. When I heard the name Pauloin, I was still in Antigua at the time. I said, the Pauloin name sounds like a name down the Choiseul side. And the guy was arrested in Choiseul. Maybe he lives in Vanna, but he had family, relatives down in Choiseul, where I know Pauloins, the few Pauloins that I know, they're from that area and so on. They arrested the guy, and the guy has been, to my knowledge, in pre-trial detention since that time, pending trial. What has happened? Police, you need to tell us. What has happened to that case? Is it moving forward? Why isn't it moving forward? Why is it now? You may say, we've done what we've done, is the courts now, but you are the point of contact and information. How often do judges and magistrates speak to the media or to the public? How often do they even have a communications officer that you can say, okay, this is the PRO for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in St. Lucia, that you can contact them? How often? Is the police we depend on? What is that situation that a guy has been on remand or whatever for 5 years almost? This year is going to be 5 years. What is the situation? Because we want to know that women in this country get a sense that, okay, unfortunate, tragic, hideous, heinous things happen, but what is the progression of that through the justice system? Are they going to say just, and there's also justice about the guy. People get livid when you talk about human rights. Oh, if I think human rights, like shoot family, like chui family, whatever. People want to know what's going on. But what about the suspect? How long will he remain on remand? We cannot forget the case, for example, of a certain Eugene St. Romain. It took a long time to get to the point of investigating so that they could have evidence to charge the guy for the death of his stepdaughter, a 12-year-old Valinda Joseph, who was apparently brutally raped before she was just as brutally murdered, strangled, it would seem, poison poured into her mouth, a whole lot of things. But by then, St. Romain had spent 9 years, on remand. After he was charged, it took so long again before that case could be brought to a conclusion, etc., etc. The rights of even accused persons, of suspects, have to be respected and recognized. What is the situation? And that's what I'm saying. The police need to come out and give the public briefings, not just on your arrest and charge, but after 5 years to be able to say to people, in the case of murder accused Michael Pauloin, whatever, there is a hold-up because of so and so and so. It is not with the police. There is a little bit of a setback or a challenge in taking the case to court because whatever. Just tell people those things. You can do that without compromising the case, without giving out information that can cause prejudice or cause it to be thrown out or whatever it is. You are the police. You know the system. You know how it works. Just the same way that young woman, I think 29-year-old mother of 3, Alana Bernard, in the Corinth area, who it seems had just alighted from a bus coming from work, from what we are told. And it seemed like there were somebody or people waiting for her, and gunmen came and just shot her. She crumbled to the pavement like a dog. They didn't care, They just wanted to off her. They just wanted to whack her to get rid of her. Word around is that she had some case pending against somebody for sexual assault. Somebody who had sexually assaulted her, and that her murder may have been a day or just a few days before the case was due to be called. Now, truth be told, as a media person, you hear things. I have heard that the person of interest, I think the police had taken in somebody of interest and had questioned the person, but then things were not adding up, the alibi of where the person was, etc. at this time. That individual may have been killed in a subsequent orgy of gun violence somewhere in Maynard Hill, whatever, around the same time that a 15-year-old boy was killed, in gunfire and so on. Gunmen came to the area. That individual, but that is also part of the information. You do not know for sure, but you can at least tell the public, a person of interest was held but subsequently had to be released because of lack of evidence, information reaching the police, which we have not proven and are still investigating, suggests that perhaps, a potential suspect or person of interest was subsequently deceased. You don't even have to say about gun or anything. Subsequently deceased. So the main person that we're looking at as a possibility, that person has, talk to people. Give them that little sense of greater comfort, of greater security and so on. Because I'm telling you, if people know that the guy who most likely shot Alana Bodano is believed to have shot her, that this guy is no more, they can breathe a little sigh of relief better, than to know there are gunmen lurking about, and if every life that they take, that those gunmen are going to become bolder, they're going to become more comfortable, they're going to become more self-assured, more cocksure and so on. And so they will execute their crimes next occasion, whether it's a paid hit or so on. They're going to do it with a greater degree of poise because they got away with it before. They know better how to handle things to avoid being caught and so on. You have to give the public a better sense of assurance through those kinds of briefings, through those kinds of tidbits of information. What's happening with my phone today? Suddenly, because Terry is not there, I'm not popular, nobody want to call me. 487-984, now you disconnect the line secretly on me, Jaquan. So nobody can get through. 487-9849 or 4533-911, the numbers to dial. Please, folks, our final program. I always thought about opening the program too early. I don't think we have done so, but I learned my lesson in the 2 first years. When you open too quickly after New Year's and so on, people are still... I was surprised yesterday, somebody that I called in the morning, and the person told me, his wife answered and said he was still sleeping. I know people of that generation, they normally wake up very early, and you don't get them in bed 6 o'clock, 6:30 and so on. From the time you get 4 or 5 in the morning, they're up already. But we're getting our first call, I think. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello? Oh, I saw... Hi, caller, are you there? Yeah, caller, are you there? Hello? They still there? All right. Okay. All right. The person got cold feet. All right. 4533911. That is the landline number that we saw someone calling on it, and we couldn't get them to come through. Or you can call us by WhatsApp 487-9849. That is the number to dial, and we are waiting for your call. All right. Of course, what's in the air these days, everybody has a piece to say about Donald Trump. I've said my bit about him too, as you well know. But it looks like we're going to be getting a call on the WhatsApp line right now. We have that call. Hello? We have it locked. Good afternoon, Real Issues. You're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shelton.
Yeah, why you take so long to call? I have to be scrunting and begging for a call. Goodbye, sir.
I was listening. Yeah. This morning I was listening to Zafenu. And you all was talking about like utility and like flow, Wasco and them thing. Now, something happened, and I would like to know if anything wrong went with that person or okay, let me give it the exactly what happened. Like you have like your internet and you have your security cameras. So you have it like a security to monitor what's going on in your business or in your house and whatever.
A webcam kind of thing.
Flow have a problem. Like for 2 days and something happened in your house or in your business. Who in charge to pay you back your stuff? If it's like Flow or Digicel or whatever.
I can tell you, it sure ain't going to be them at all. Remember, Gasa Mosadu not a peck over and katsu from you. You'll have to go through a complex lawsuit process and so on that will drag on. Yeah.
No, because you paying for a service like you paid for a full package, and like it's not like you select what you use, what you pay or Wasco. You pay for a monthly service. And that thing is like giving problem for sometimes 2 days, because it happened to me just last week there. And my internet like stopped working like 2 days, and like I see nothing that going on around my house or in my house or whatever. So if something had happened to in anything in my house, so where we should go about it?
I don't know. Like I said, that sounds like something you'd have to file some kind of lawsuit, civil lawsuit and so on. But to say there's anything in the law to say that a service provider let you down and did not provide the service surveillance for you to carry out the surveillance, and hence they are, liable for the breaking and the loss that you suffered. I don't know, my friend. That seemed like a very difficult one. That seemed like a very difficult one to succeed with.
A little concern I have this morning too, because yesterday you was there in place of Jaim and Yadi, and this morning again it's you and Jaim. So I didn't hear the starting, like if Yadi will be available, or if he on holiday, or if he will not be at all. So I don't know if you can share any ideas.
That's why you want to know our business like that. There's our internal business, guys. Okay, time will tell, my friend. I can't really. I'm just joking, but I can't really tell you.
Okay.
Like I say, my friend, anytime Dr. McDowell picks up the phone and he calls me and says, Shelton, I want you to go in and host Zafeno this morning. I want you to sit with Yadi or sit with Jaim. My answer is always, okay, doc, and I move to do it. I don't dig into, if somebody is sick, whatever, and so on. I don't do any of that, I just hold myself to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, brothers, okay. Thank you very much. 4879849, that's the number on which this caller just was. Someone was trying to reach us on the landline, and then I saw another flash while that last call was on. It's clear now, so if you want to call us on 4533911, I don't see the red light flashing. You're absolutely welcome to do so. We are taking your calls until 2 o'clock, and I think we have a caller on. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Mr. Sheldon Daniel.
Hey, forward là.
Après papa bon Dieu.
Qui nouvelle?
Moi petite boisson la prière, moi on ka bien après ça parce rien pas qu'à faire ça la prière.
Ah oui.
Après Dieu vous journée. God will take care of us. For he has said he will never leave us or forsake us. Hebrews chapter 14 verse 5. May our trembling heart find peace and comfort in the knowledge that we never alone, and ready to be your strength and your grace and your peace. He is there to cast sunlight into all our darkened shadows and to send encouragement through the love of friends and family, and to replace our weariness with new hope. God is your stronghold as within. As you guide, you need never be afraid. No circumstances can block his love. No grief is too hard for him to bear. No task is too difficult for him to complete. When what we are feeling is simply too deep for words, God understands, Everyone does not say can provide you with the relief you need. God understands he is our provider today, tomorrow, and always, and he loves us. Cast all our cares on him and believe. Papa, mercy, come Holy Spirit, we need you. Come sweet Spirit, we pray. Come with your whole healing power. Come with your... Amen, amen, amen.
Merci un peu le forward là. Et puis qui nouvelle ou c'est joie?
Oui.
Qui nouvelle ou c'est joie? Hello? Okay, all right. I'll have to release that call. We're taking your call still on both 4533911, the local landline, and you can WhatsApp call us on 487-9849. All right, I'll be looking at a couple of messages. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, if you're St. Lucian in America and so on, try to stay out of the way of ICE and all those people and so on. I don't understand people coming to arrest people who are there illegally. They have not resisted you coming up from behind and you're tackling them down to the ground in such a violent way. Sometimes people who are elderly, you can leave them with hip fractures, you can leave them with spinal injuries. Why ICE has to be so heavy-handed and so on? My people, my beloved people, just, try your Try your best. Try your best. Try your best to just stay out of the way of those people. If you're there illegally, try to begin to find a way to exit. Yeah, exit their country and their system and so on, and don't get yourself into their crosshairs and so on. You know, if you're there illegally, it means that you're wrong to begin with. Okay, let me read some messages that I'm getting. Someone says most of the Cuban doctors do not even want people to know they were trained in Cuba. If they could take that out of their certificate, they would do so. I don't know if I've ever encountered a Cuban trained doctor who's ashamed of having been. I don't know. Maybe I'm not good at discerning or detecting those kinds of things in people. He continues, there is a St. Lucia Cuba Association. You can't even see 5 of them at the meetings. Okay. I don't know. I've been to a couple, and at the time that I used to go, they were very well attended. The St. Lucia Cuba Humanistic Solidarity Association is what I think they call themselves. And they were fairly well attended, you know. I didn't see that sense of shame and so on. Hello, The Real Issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been here. I didn't know you were on the air.
Okay, all right.
I've been trying. Sometimes I don't have anything.
I've been there since Monday. Are you there? You're on the air right now, you know.
Yeah, I've been. Well, I'm saying I've been trying to reach. Mrs. Parker has passed away. That's our former matron.
Are you listening to yourself on the radio, on the TV while you're talking to us?
I put it off.
Yeah,
I've been trying to reach. I was just saying that I called on behalf of the Parker family. Mrs. Parker was a former matron and she passed away.
Okay.
It's a bit of a week, and the daughter is, I'm trying to reach her. No, how have I tried? I'm trying to reach a member of the family. I have a message for I cannot reach them. But I'm glad you are on because I've been putting on the radio. I've not heard you for a while. I just accidentally put it on and realized you are on. But I heard you say nobody's calling.
Well,
Sometimes we try to call, you have difficulty in reaching the line, and this is why. But I'm happy you are back.
Okay.
Hello, we have quite a few of our nurses have passed away, but this is our former matron. I'm sure you know her, Mrs. Andre Parker from Luna Park. I hope if any member of her family is listening, that I have a message for the daughter. I've called England, and I just cannot get a line. I just cannot get through them, and I have a message for her. So I hope they could call me if they ever get my...
Do they know who you are? Because
they know who I am. I'm Mrs. Drysdale. I'm the former matron of Victoria Hospital.
Okay, all right, okay.
And she's our former PNO. She has done a lot of work for the regional nursing body, a lot of work on behalf of the nurses, but I've not heard anything from her, from the association, because, you know, it's young people there now.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Drysdale. Well, all my life...
I was hoping that we made it at the election, but I wasn't too well myself to go out.
Okay, all right.
God bless you.
Is it still okay to call you Sister Drysdale? Because
Sister Drysdale,
I never,
my number.
I never called you Mrs. Drysdale. What's the number?
45222110.
Okay.
And also 2864504. I have a message for the daughter. I have tried to call. The son is answering Martin, but I want to get in touch with the daughter. She's in St. Lucia, but she's just not answering her phone. I tried to call Mrs. Elliott as well. I just cannot get any one of them.
Okay, all right then. And you said the body that you're trying to contact is what? What's the name?
Penelope Parker.
Penelope Parker.
But she's in St. Lucia, but I call, I'm getting a number in England. There's no answer. But I suppose she's busy seeing after the mother's funeral.
Okay.
But I hope the nurses, at least the association, come on behalf of this lady. Because she worked for years and she did great work with the regional nursing body for the nurses in St. Lucia. But I've not heard anything said on her behalf. Most of the people working for are retired.
So have you been able to make contact with anybody in the Nurses Association?
I'm not in contact. These people don't contact anybody because Mrs. Haraxin was a former president. All these people are retired and Mrs. Haraxin is not well. I'm a former matron, but nobody's actually well.
Okay.
There's a young association which I'm hoping that they will come out and say something on her behalf because this lady, I've done a lot for the nurses.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, Sister
All
Drysdale.
the best and God bless you, and I'm happy you are around.
Yes. Thank you very much.
For that.
All the best
Bye-bye.
to you. Okay. Nice hearing from you.
Bye. Okay. Most times because we cannot get the line, that's why you're not in. That's the only way I can send my message.
Okay, all
but
right.
sometimes you call 4-5, you're in difficulty to get the line.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
All right. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. It's 1:30, so we'll take our break, and when we come back, we'll handle more calls and the messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Country, we talk country. This Saturday, January 17th. Come have an unforgettable experience. Upstairs the Castries Market. It's a night of country classics. Party up inside to the best country and western hits from yesteryear. And now, ladies, you free all night. Yes, ladies, you free all night. Men, you pay $10. Doors open from 8 p.m. Featuring the entertainer DJ Leroy and the professor DJ Elton. All powered by Entertainer Sounds. So link your crew, cause this Saturday night is X amount of country music as we party up inside the Castries Market. See you there.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with the real issues on the home stretch until 2 o'clock when we wrap it up for today and for the week. Let's just look at some of the messages that we have. Someone said, you said extension officers. In agriculture, it is better you say extinction officers. Oh, my goodness me. Some people can be so cruelly witty. You know? But we have a caller waiting. You're on the air. Go ahead. Hello?
Yes. Happy New Year and welcome back.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Frozen but alive.
All right, okay.
Yes, so to be honest, I want to say the extension officers are not doing a good job. They have been paid. They get transportation allowances. They get everything. They are not doing a good job. All that matters to them is their salary.
Yeah.
I can never forget. I have said and will continue to say. We had these old men who are now retired. The services that they gave is unbelievable. And I will mention one person name that's alive. That's Alva Baptist's father.
Okay.
That man deserves more than his pension. Can you imagine you living in Labrie and to have an appointment all the way Maho at 6:30? And that man would be there. Fletcher? George Fletcher? I will die saying that.
Okay.
There will never be one like him again. Our young men are not concerned about the farmers. They are only concerned about themselves, their salary, and most of them are into farming. They only serve the farmers on their spare time.
Okay.
They do farming, much more than 12 farmers put together. So honestly, that we have to look into. And there is something that happens in St. Lucia. Our young people are only interested in going to the supermarkets and buying imported fruits. Semuna, makaveti zot. Mouchwe mama izot manger fig Saint-Lucie. Boatan. Gooseberries. On our fruit, our exotic fruits. These imported fruits are toxic. That is why we have so many young people dying at an early stage. I have my neighbor who has a few apple trees. Shelton, to produce apples The amount of chemicals that they have to be sprayed on these trees. Otherwise, you will not have one. Once I told her, Gail, don't spray them. Let us see what they do. That year, she did not have one apple. There are some bugs that comes around and sting them. Before they get halfway to the stage of premature, they rot and fall. These apples we are buying in the supermarket, we are putting something in our body we really don't need, and we don't have doctors to treat us in the Caribbean for that. Avoid as much as you all can to stay away from these imported things.
Okay, we have another caller waiting here, so we can wrap
Thanks
up.
and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy you're back.
Okay, thanks. And just as I tell her that and she complies, the other person gives up. At that point, let's see if we can get another one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, real issues. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
How you doing, Shelton?
I'm doing great, especially now that I'm hearing your very kind voice.
Yeah, stroke my ego. It's working.
What's that?
Stroke my ego. It's working.
Okay, all right.
But let me tell you, Shelton, you made a point about you and you opened the lines. People don't call as you expect them to. Shelton Daniel, you need to understand that when you, Shelton Daniel, start to rattle off, giving us information, we would much rather sit and listen to it, take it in, so that we are much better for it. You're very informed, and every time you open your mouth and you start to talk, we are better informed. So don't think that we are not calling you because we don't like you or that Terry is not there. No. We are listening.
This is laziness.
We are taking it in.
This is an excuse. This is an excuse for laziness.
I beg your pardon?
This is an excuse for laziness. People don't want to participate. So they say, no, we just think it's not necessary because you're doing such a good job. This is laziness. Pick up the phone and call. Do some of the work, so that, we can have a good effect on each other.
This is on you. You like too much. Okay? Now, regarding the fruits in this country, you spoke about a few fruits, right?
I can't itemize all of them, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah.
I remember someone telling me a long time ago that we used to have blueberries and all of those fruits here, and that person is a very older person. The person told me we had all of those fruits here, but what happened with the fruits is that as people started to clear land to build or to make way for farming,
or to plant bananas, we cut down everything.
Right, bananas. That's what I was looking to say. Or to plant bananas, you find they chop off those plants and never bothered to replant it.
Yeah.
So you have a problem with us now not having all of the fruits. Another thing is,
I don't think any of them have gone extinct. Yeah, I think they have become scarce, but I think all of them.
They have.
Yeah.
And there are some of them that we see, since we were not raised eating them or seeing people eat them, we think it's just bush, So we need a re-education in that regard so that we can have fruits. L'année une saison pour toutes ces fruits. So toutes ces fruits qui viennent les market là, amène là. Quand yo saison pour mango, yo saison pour pomme cité, yo saison pour toute bagaille. So ou pas ou inonder terre, ou confuse. Ou comprendre? So
that's why I'm saying we have to develop a kind of a national thing that does not depend upon the supermarket shelves. It's too much of the supermarket life. I mean, I do expect, for example, how many people, I'm speaking Greek when I talk to them about a certain fruit called kawata. which is like a hairy, little banana that grows almost like a pineapple kind of thing, and you pluck it out. I'm talking of, you're unlikely to see kawata in a supermarket or even a mini-mart. But I'm saying when those things are there, and we know they're there, in our walking about and so on, we know that this tree, that we can get this little fruit from it and so on, and we can eat it and so on. It makes up for a lot of the exotic things that we import and so on, because it's supposedly good for health and for killing cancer cells, when we probably have more of that in our country. And I believe we should reintroduce those things. A lot of them are scarce. They may have been pushed close to extinction. I don't think they have gone extinct. And that is why I said I thought that the revolutionary fervor of Cuban trained people, because we have people trained in agricultural sciences in Cuba, agricultural engineering, together with the boundless energy of youth who always believe that, nothing is too much for them, that they can conquer the world. That you can bring these two together so that you have a a resurgence of those things in our country that people can have as public freehold. Not something you need to go and buy. Not something you need to go into a supermarket. Leave the supermarket for the things we cannot subject, for the apple and for the imported pears and for this sorts of thing. Leave them there. But these ordinary local things that we grew up with, and which it is now known that they are so much better for our health, let us try to see if we can bring about a revival of them, in a big way.
And on the part about the extension officers, we have extension officers who don't know anything about a lot of those fruits. And then they, like Maria said, a lot of them are in it for the money and not necessarily for the passion. Because look, recently there was an extension officer who had to be called out for being an extension officer, getting paid and doing nothing. The farmers in his region were not seeing him. So also we have a lot of people going into jobs that they're not passionate about. They just want the money. Come and today is Friday, the day before Saturday.
Yeah.
I go and do my business. I go and sit down and listen to the rest of the program, yes?
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yes. We are taking your calls, 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that, and you can call us on the landline where we have a call coming right now. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello, Shelton. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Shelton, you remember Kako Leaf do Pom Dillion?
Yeah, but Pom was a whole lot of things. Yeah, For example, Pom was, I have not seen it for such a long time. Yet there's so much wax apple, which I understand is brought from Taiwan and doing so well in St. Lucia. But somebody from Choiseul called me and tell me that there's a certain place you can come down to Choiseul and you'll find Pom was. And I'm just saying, can we get little plants of it so that if it is something that has been pushed to the brink, that we can get more of it in St. Lucia, and we don't have to think of it in terms of whether it can sell. We like to think of the sell and the supermarket and all of that too much. Now, if somebody can make a money on it, having it along a twib or they call lapuvan by mamai and so on, it's a good thing instead of all this Oreos and thing that they're eating and so on, that we can get back to that. But we want to have those things, as the Rastas would say, Pupla free up. Understand?
I remember I used to like to go to the by the river. That's where you get the
that's right. Yeah.
By the river.
That's
and
right.
The water. And that's where you used to get those things under the bush.
And even the mami, there's something they call the mami apple, the mami and so on that you used to eat. It was a nice sweet thing, And
the sea grapes and the zikak, all those things. People don't even eat those things. You see those things and the guava, a lot of those people just leave that alone. They don't use it. The guava is much better than the apple and the grapes than any other thing. People don't use those things anymore.
And I believe our agriculturists, there's still a role for them to play. That they can propagate those things so that we get them bigger, so that we get them fleshier. Look at, I think there's a guava. I don't know if it's seedless, but it has a white flesh inside and very little seeds and so on that you can enjoy. There's now, how you call that, the kukukuli. that is a big fat plump one that you can eat. It has a big seed, but it has a lot of flesh on it that you can eat. So I believe, and I don't think it's not genetically modified. It is different types of maybe selective breeding and whatever they do, that they can make it something that you pick one or two and you don't have to take a whole bag of them or whatever it is, and you
even
can
the hot plums. I remember they used to tell you when it's late afternoon, don't eat the hot plums. Those things you just take the scale and you don't.
The hog plum is the moubin, right?
Yeah, the moubin.
So I'm just saying, let us reacquire a taste and appetite for those kinds of things in our country, and let us make them available so that. Some of those things you can't plant them anywhere. The size of the tree, you can't go and plant a boatan tree in Castries. That will mash up pavement, and that will, we're lucky that. But there are some small, there are some small trees that are very, how you call that, pliant woods and so on, that you can plant and they won't bust your concrete and so on. That you can, you know how nice it would be, man, if you can walk through Corinth and in some open spaces that you can reach out your hand, and pick something and eat it or whatever, while you're taking some exercise and so on, that you don't have to have plastic bottles, because a lot of the plants, they are hydrating themselves, They're not so sweet that they will leave you dehydrated and syrupy and so on. But that you can enjoy them, you get the benefits of antioxidants and whatever they say that's good in them, and polyphenols, while at the same time they have a reasonably hydrating effect on you. So,
Yeah, because they still have them, they still have them around, but very few of them. Anyway, thanks very much.
All right, thanks. Appreciate the call. Is that another call I'm saying there? Let's take this one. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Shelton Brownell, good afternoon.
Shelton Brownell. Go ahead.
No, I said Shelton.
Okay, all right, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know if you know, can I help you?
No, Can I Help You has not come back yet. It didn't come back last night, so we don't know. I'm sure at the appropriate time, Honorable Richard Frederick will make the announcement of when he's returning, to do the program.
Because that's a for every Thursday.
Because what?
I look forward to.
Yeah, the announcement. I'm sure he'll make it in due course.
Well, he should meet us.
Okay, it looks like that's your pili le kumala that you'll.
Oh yeah, mama.
All right, okay. That's all you had to say, because we're getting a call on the other line.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, my friend, thanks. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton. Good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
I want to agree with you that people are lazy. And that, people meet and say, but, Inch County, I hear you. I say, what do you mean? I'm not hearing you calling the radio station. I say, but I don't like you now. I want to hear you. You understand?
Yeah.
I try to tell people in advocacy, when I call Wasto 20 times for the morning and say there's a burst pipe outside, the receptionist says, that is troublesome man again. When they had 20 residents call and say there's a burst pipe in Corinth, then the receptionist tells to the supervisor, there's a problem, the people are calling. Okay? Or people need to be able to call and say, Shelton, I've been the last caller. Shelton, the last caller is right. All they have to do is listen to VOB. They'll hear how people speak. Yes. They have discussions and topics.
Yes.
Instead of everybody want to just hear themselves. So the point that is made for the day, very few of them, they want to discuss it. About our fruit, Shelton, there's a time when we were talking about having factories to make nectars in St. Lucia.
Factories to what?
Factories.
Okay.
You need factory to make juice, etc. But since the advent of technology, we have blending machines. Everybody could blend and make their own juice at their home.
True.
Right? Our local juices are moving, our mango to make juices for all of that. Our juices, our mango should not be wasting.
Yes.
Now you see more mangoes falling down wasting. Right?
Quite true.
You know the tree, look, I forget, hog plums.
Yeah, mube.
Imagine hog plums by schools,
Yeah, the mube.
The road is yellow with hog plums. The children don't know what is hog plums. You back a mange, nothing at all.
Yes, yes.
Now this lady was talking about eating our fruits. But I tell them, if we are planting bananas, we have breadfruit in our yard. Is it for the tourists we have them? Our children not eating their things. But I have a solution for that. I think that the STEP program we have, pay people in STEP to start feeding, preparing breadfruit, mango, macambo. You know, they have mango pie, etc. Right? Make it with macambo and plantain, our local food. Show our children the tradition that after Christmas and the New Year, we have a banja and vinsale. You know, bring it back for our children. We have to uncolonize, decolonize their taste buds. This remember that's what the children want. The children are eating what we give them. Right? So what's the point of having all these breadfruit trees around? You have some people, all they have is lawn. They have nothing in the yard. I think it's in where it is, one of the islands, the government has given people plants to grow in your balcony. You could have your tea on your site, etc. We have to have a culture of self-reliance.
Yes, yes.
Because this thing about depending on the supermarket is not good for us.
Yeah, the supermarket life like
makes us more dependent on Trump. So when Trump did not come to serve himself, at least once you eat gas and you survive,
Sure.
Right?
And you know, even outside of the dependency on foreign, we have to realize those of us who working and we getting a regular income, a salary, even a pension and so on, we worlds removed from the people who don't have any such source of income, who are living basically on the margins and on the edge of society. And I think basically the word I have not used, we have to provide for them a country that makes a certain amount of foraging, possible. That they can forage for wild fruits and wild foods and so on, that they can get by, that they don't always have to be thinking to go in a garbage can or to be begging somebody or wanting to break in,
But, let me tell you, even the banja, there's a time when everybody had banja for Christmas.
Because banja is supposed to be a wild.
They put back the head in the sun, right?
Banja is supposed to be a wild tuber, isn't it?
Yeah, wild yam.
Yeah.
Banja is wild yam.
Yeah.
People just want dig banja in here and put it back, etc. Christmas they have banja, right?
Yeah.
Now the fathers take the banja, they stick to it, and they do all kind of things. We don't have banja.
Yeah.
You have some simple things like that. Where Shelton 2013 had a participatory project management project.
That's it, yeah.
And my project was that I'll make a school in the rural area of St. Lucia be self-sufficient in food. They would have had ponds, the ponds with tilapia, whatever fresh fish pond you'd have. The children take care of the ponds, etc., the fishes. And then the community would give the children this. Whatever it is, macambo, that's in season, whatever food that they have, the community would give the school the food, the produce. So then the schools now would not be producing the tilapia, the fresh river fish, right, the pond fish, to sell to the hotels like I saw they did in Marigo. But they'll be producing the fish and then giving back to the community. Because sales volume says that if you have enough volume, we could sell a pound of fish for $1, $5. Because when we complain about the meat we get from North America, the chicken, etc., right, it's not good for us. But what is the alternative? The alternative cannot be fish $15 a pound. So I believe the schools can play a meaningful role by having ponds and producing fish in sufficient quantities for the community. So the community will be giving them whatever macambo they have, breadfruit season, bring the breadfruit for the schools. And the people in the STEP program would be able to do the different dishes with our produce. So the children would now have the food in school. Because nowadays people are lazy, they can't cook at the home, some they can't cook, etc. Those that cook, they want to cook. But at school, the children would eat the breadfruit pie, the macambo pie, You understand me? It's easy buoyo, like you and I enjoyed it because our mother did it for us. Alright? So I believe that is one way we can do that. Make our children start enjoying our local produce. But next 20 years, they don't have to go.
Okay, we have to go now. We have to go now. 2 o'clock is upon us. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, folks, thank you very much. That's Real Issues for today, for the week. Shelton Daniel, thanks for making it such a wonderful comeback, a return for the new year. And until next week, where we start again on Monday, Shelton Daniel, Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, signing out. Have a great weekend.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Country, we talk country.
242. Lucky 3. 256. The Lucky Free Multi-X ball drawn is 2X.
In the month of December.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Country, we talk country. This Saturday, January 17th. Come have an unforgettable experience upstairs the Castries Market. It's a night of country classics. Party up inside to the best country and western hits from yesteryear. And now, ladies, you free all night. Yes, ladies, you free all night. Men, you pay $10. Doors open from 8 p.m. Featuring the entertainer DJ Leroy and the professor DJ Elton. All powered by Entertainer Sounds. So link your crew, cause this Saturday night is X amount of country music as we party up inside the Castries Market. See